Live Aid. We're coming together.
I'm Coretta Scott King. Martin Luther King Jr. was deeply concerned about world hunger. When he received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, he raised an urgent question. Why should there be hunger and privation in any land, in any city, at any table? He asked, when man has the resources and scientific know-how to provide all the necessities of life. There is no deficit in human resources, he said. The deficit is in human will. We are all a part of the same family. The hungry people of the world are our brothers, our sisters, our children, and we must make a place for them at the table of brotherhood.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Hello, my name's Roger Enrico, and I'm privileged to be president of Pepsi-Cola USA. Like most of you watching this broadcast, I've never personally experienced the physical and emotional deprivation of hunger. And when we see the abundance about us, it's hard to remember that there are millions of people in the world without enough food to survive. But those that are starving in Africa, in Asia, in South America, and yes, in Europe and North America, are counting on us to remember and to act. You know, we Americans are problem solvers, and there's no problem more in need of solving than allowing people to go hungry when we have the ability to feed them. I urge all of you to join us at Pepsi-Cola and get involved right now. Together, we Americans can not only make a difference, we can be the difference. Thank you.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
I'm Kirk Douglas, and I've been lucky. I've had the chance to do what I want in life, but it wasn't always that way. My parents came here, Russian immigrants, couldn't read or write. Things were rough. With 7 kids in our family, we often didn't have enough to eat. So I knew how it felt to go hungry. I didn't like it. And I don't like the idea of anyone going without food. But if we work together, no one has to. The hungry are not looking for a handout. They want to do it themselves. And they are doing it themselves all over the world. We need to work with them to get this job done. Hunger is a nightmare we have the power to end. Let's do it. Thank you.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Buenos dias, I am Cesar Chavez. For most of my life, I have been dedicated to improving the lives and the living conditions of the underprivileged. It's a very hard day-to-day battle, and it sometimes appears hopeless. People used to think it was hopeless that millions of people die every year of starvation, but it is not hopeless. Hunger can end for all people everywhere in the world. To me, if you have a problem as big as world hunger, and you have everything you need to solve it, not solving it is more than a sin. It is a crime against humanity. Together, we can end hunger. It is more than a cause or a belief. It's a fact.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
If we could understand only one thing, why the cells of all the organs of the human being work all together in order to maintain health and vitality for the whole body, we would know what universal brotherhood is. The stomach doesn't digest for itself, but for the whole body. The lungs don't breathe only for themselves. The heart beats to send the blood to every part of the body. Instead, if separativity, hostility, and isolation take place, it is anarchy and cancer. This campaign against hunger and famine will save the world.
Live Aid, we're coming together.
私はソニーの森田明夫です。スペースシャトルから見た地球は素晴らしいです。この素晴らしい地球に住めるのは本当に幸せなことだと思います。このような地球が見えるようになったのには努力による大変な技術の発展があったと思います。私たちも小さな会社を始めて世界中の人たちに愛してもらう製品を作るために大変な勇気と努力を重ねてまいりました。今世界にはやはり苦しんでおる人がたくさんあります。この人たちを救うために私たちは精一杯努力と勇気を持って戦っていきたいと思います。
Live Aid, we're coming together.
Rebecca Holden. My husband and I are actively involved in the world hunger issue. We've been to Africa and seen the ravaging effects of hunger. And we're initiating programs to overcome this devastating problem. Due to the worldwide downturn in the oil industry, there exists an abundance of drilling equipment sitting idle. We wondered why these same drilling rigs couldn't be used to drill for water in Africa. Well, they can. Rigs are being prepared today for shipment to drought-stricken regions all over Ethiopia and the Sudan, which will bring fresh, clean water to hundreds of thousands. Being in the oil business, my husband has found a way to apply his area of expertise to the job of ending hunger. You can do the same thing. The world's hungry deserve to be self-reliant and self-sufficient. We can all become partners with them in making this happen. Think about what you can do, and do what you can. Thank you.
Live Aid, we're coming together.
I'm Julio Iglesias and I'm a singer now. But before, when I was very young, I used to play football for Real Madrid. Real Madrid was not a bad team in Spain in that time, until a day then I had an accident and I almost died. The doctors thought that I would never walk again. It took a lot of my life to show the doctors that they were wrong. And now I'm here. The starving people in Africa, they think there is not hope for them. But I know they can recover, like I did, with our help. But they cannot do it anymore. It has to be right now. How? Join all together and fight for the hungry all over the world. We just wait for you, right now. Thank you.
Live Aid, we're coming together.
I'm Burt Lancaster. There's nothing new to tell you about what is happening in Africa. You've seen the pictures, you've heard the reports. But I would like to tell you how I feel about it. I don't like hearing story after story about how impotent we are as a species. We have found ways to grow more food than we need, and we brought life to deserts. Yet in all of this, we have not quite found the secret to cooperation. And that saddens me. People are people. And fate has put some of us in Africa where the rain has stopped for too long. Oh, it's easy to forecast what'll happen if we do nothing. But if we band together as one family, I tell you, mankind may do a lot more than end the African famine. We just might learn to grow up.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
I'm Peter Ueberroth, Commissioner of Baseball. Last year I was president of the Los Angeles Olympic Games. Managing it was by far the greatest challenge I've ever faced. It took the hard work of thousands of dedicated individuals working countless hours to make it happen. That effort doesn't come close to what it'll take to end hunger. Fortunately, there are many worthwhile programs which, in partnership with the world's hungry, are helping to eradicate this tragic situation. I was proud to be part of the team which organized the Olympic Games. I'm also proud to be a member of the team that's going to help to end world hunger. Won't you please join us?
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Hello, everybody. My name is Preston Kevama. For centuries, our forefathers have planted these fields. The seeds that I have in my hand has been prepared through a prayer for planting into our Mother Earth. One of the principles that guides our lives is that of unselfishness. We want to share with our brothers and sisters in Africa the seeds of our heritage. I want to invite all of you to join us in a prayer so that they too can grow with strength, love, and dignity.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Hello, I'm Mickey Leland, United States Congressman from Houston, Texas. As chairman of the House Select Committee on Hunger, I have visited with many children in Africa and all over the world who go to bed hungry every night. Somehow these very same children, however, managed to laugh and smile and love. Did you know that 40,000 people, mostly children, die every day of malnutrition and related illnesses? Many of them, many of them, also are crippled for life because they can't get enough food and medicine. Our humanity is shamed by this hunger. As a policymaker, I know that governments listen to people, and when voices join together, the sound is heard in very high places. I urge you to join in this chorus against hunger. Write your legislators, write your policymakers, write your leaders, and let them know that we can end hunger today. Let's end hunger now.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Assalamu alaikum. On June 17, 1985, I became one of the few people to travel to outer space aboard the American Space Shuttle Discovery, the first multinational mission. During the 7-day trip, I had a chance to look back to our great planet from a distance. From that unique perspective, you see Earth much differently than before. You see no wars, national boundaries vanish, and there are no famines. Only a peaceful feeling that man is one. It gave me a cause to reflect that anything that happens to others must affect ourselves. The purpose of our mission was to deploy 3 communication satellites. Communication is the key. I sincerely believe that through international spirit of cooperation, the technology that put man into space can be utilized to eliminate world hunger. All we have to do is commit ourselves to it. I implore each one of you to make that commitment. Thank you very much.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Hi, I'm Carl Sagan. Did you ever imagine an extraterrestrial coming to Earth and trying to figure the place out? It's a pretty planet burgeoning with life. But when that extraterrestrial looks closely, it would find more than 1 billion people in agony, widespread starvation, babies dying by the millions. Why? Is it a poor planet? No, just the opposite. But on this planet, humans spend almost $1 trillion every year in preparations for war. $1 trillion. Enough to eliminate starvation worldwide, to cure disease, to give everybody on the planet a decent education.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
Hi, my name is Teddy Kennedy Jr. World hunger is a very complex problem, but its solution, I think, is very simple. I had the chance to visit the camps in Ethiopia and the Sudan over Christmas with my family, and I saw the wide distribution of food and medicine taking place. Certainly there are thousands that really need our food and shelter and support, but I can attest to the fact that kids are being fed, supplies are arriving, and the response, not only in our country, from around the world, has been phenomenal. People really can make a difference in this world. It's something that my family really believes in. And I would encourage all of you to do your part in helping the problem of the world's hunger.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
This is about hunger in Africa. I've just finished a rehearsal with the National Symphony Orchestra here at the Capitol in Washington. I've been conducting 100 musicians, players, and singers, each of whom is a virtuoso with a vast range of personal expression. Likewise, you and I, all of us, are equally personal in our separate identities, but I'm sure that we're all unanimous in our desire to see the end of famine in Africa. And each one of us can express that desire individually, like these 100 musicians, only it's the combination of our voices ringing out together that can make a music so bold and loud and clear that no power on earth can ignore it. Will you join me? The words are, let's end this African tragedy. Let's share what we have with them. Ready? And...
Live Aid. We're coming together.
My name is Richard Attenborough. A dream of mine was to make a movie about Mahatma Gandhi, and it took me more than 20 years to realize that dream. Ending world hunger is, well, it's much more complicated than making any movie. But for the first time in mankind's history, we possess solutions that will work to produce more than enough food to end hunger forever. And we can certainly manage to do that in less time than it took me to make Gandhi. In fact, we could end hunger by the end of this century. It'll take hard work and massive international cooperation, but it begins with personal commitment. Would you join me, please? Make your commitment today to a world without hunger.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
My name is Brad Morse. I'm the head of the United Nations Office for Emergency Activities in Africa, and I am so proud to have the privilege of speaking to you, the young people of the world. Just think, there are 30 million people whose lives are at risk in Africa right now. That's probably the largest calamity, potential calamity that's ever existed. It's staggering. The figures numb the mind. But you, the young people of this world, can do something about it. Believe me, we're standing on the brink of a disaster, a nightmare. But we can make it the threshold of a dream. The choice is yours. Take action with these wonderful artists who are doing so much to inspire the interest of the world. Take action for Africa.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
I am Linus Pauling. I'm a human being, like other human beings. I believe that we should all be working to build a world in which every human being can lead a good life with good food, clothing, shelter, opportunity for an education to the extent from which he can benefit. We don't have such a world now. We have starvation in our world. This is perhaps the worst of our faults. Every one of us must work. We must take the example of Africa now to cause us to make a commitment to work for the world of the future from which starvation has been eliminated.
Live Aid. We're coming together.
I'm Geraldine Ferraro. When I was 8 years old, my father died. My mother was left on her own. Her life and our lives were tough, but what we faced was little compared to what millions of women and children in poverty face today. Each morning they wake up to hunger. Each night they sleep in despair. Their struggle is not to advance, but to survive. Today I have children of my own. I know the joy of bringing new life into the world and the pleasure of babies who grow strong and healthy. But a mother's love and hard work aren't enough. Stopping hunger takes all of our help. The tragedy of hunger must be ended. It hasn't been because we haven't made it a big enough priority. It's time to change that. Ending hunger is more than a matter of saving African families. It's a matter of saving our own humanity. I hope you will help.
Okay, we've had all kinds of celebrities making appeals. We had Pele, famous Brazilian soccer star, all kinds of Pulitzer Prize winners and so on. And now let's go straight back to our Live Aid for Africa appeal. Oh, right, we're not quite ready yet.
Satellite's not ready yet. So for those of you who missed some of our earlier performers, let's give you a recap, shall we now?
Shall you? Shall we? Let's do it. There we go.
Now at 1 o'clock we had Dire Straits. Oh, now I've got a signal that says we can go to our...
On the football soccer. I traveling all over the world. I meet people. I have see different kind of life. And I swear, right now, 13 million people are in the balance in Africa. Let's help those people. If we help them, we will be the greatest victory of the humanity. This will be our World Cup. Let's pray together and help the people in Africa.
You know, because this is a live show, we're not quite sure what's going to happen, but could it be Sally Field again?
No, it's former U.S. President Jimmy Carter.
This is Jimmy Carter. My main goal in working for human rights, peace in the Middle East, and nuclear arms control was to help my generation leave the world a better place than we found. I grew up on a farm during the Great Depression, and I saw the human spirit.
One of the international celebrities involved in Live Aid today. Shigeo Nagashima is one of Japan's greatest baseball superstars. He's a five-time most valuable player. He's one of the world's true champions. That's Shigeo Nagashima.
皆さん、長嶋茂雄です。私もつい最近アフリカのエチオピア、そして凄ましい詩人家の難民キャンプから帰ってまいりました。報道で知る以上に現地へ行きますと大変飢難で苦しんでいる皆さんが多数おいでいます。また同時に世界の皆さんが本当にこぞって協力している姿をこの目で見まして改めて私も感動したわけでございますけれども、どうか一つ皆さん、この愛と勇気を持ってこのボランティア活動にぜひ一つ参加していただくよう切にお願い申し上げます。
And there are a lot of people who are not musicians who are lifting their voices for this cause. We have one of them right now for you.
This is Jeff Bridges. In the struggle to end hunger, we're making some headway. For example, in Senegal, women have organized themselves into farming groups. They're pooling their knowledge and resources to grow food collectively and then sell the surplus. In the Ramza village in Burkina Faso, Africa, 15 wells have changed the people's lives. They can continue to grow food during the 6-month dry season and are not tempted to move away. Hundreds of nearby villagers now visit Ramsa to observe and bring home the knowledge of what they saw. When residents of Nyundo village in Zimbabwe, Africa, decided to construct their own school, they set the tuition for each student at 2,000 bricks, all to be made by hand. The bricks were used to construct the school building. This, they say, is a way to demonstrate their own responsibility for the success at the school. So there are ways to end hunger. And every little victory brings us closer to the day when no one will go without. This is Jeff Bridges. The job of ending hunger has been going on for a long time now, and it's been happening through a powerful partnership. Non-governmental and private agencies have been working together to concentrate their efforts on Africa. Governments around the world have supplied experts money and provisions, and individuals like you and me have volunteered our time, energy, money, and talent. And we've all been working in partnership with the largest force of all, the hungry themselves. They've been doing the work, holding the vision, doing whatever they could to overcome one of the most severe droughts in history. But there's a long way for all of us to go, so we can't afford to let up. Our challenge, our opportunity, is to turn Africa's worst famine into Africa's last famine. We're the generation that will do it, because we're the first generation that can do it.
We have heard from a lot of people today who don't sing, or maybe they do, but in the privacy of their own home, but they do have something to say to you, and here's one.
This is Jeff Bridges. You know, there have been many things in history which seemed impossible, yet somehow, at some point, something happened, and the world was changed forever. People always thought that the world was flat, until Columbus. People always thought that man would never fly, until the Wright brothers. They never thought that man would ever be able to transplant a human heart, until Christian Bernard. People always thought that man would never walk on the moon, until Neil Armstrong. And people always thought that hunger would never end, until today. Today begins a new chapter in history. For the first time ever, 1.5 billion people are coming together to end hunger in Africa and throughout the world. And just as in space travel, the unimaginable is now happening. You can feel it in the air. This concert's a turning point. Not just for the hungry of the world, but for all mankind, because when we end hunger by banding together, well, who knows what else we'll do. With commitment and persistence, the impossible is possible. The Live Aid Foundation has been established to help end world hunger in the next 10 years. With your help, we can do it. Please write the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120. Some problems seem insurmountable, like world hunger. The Live Aid Foundation wants you to know what the experts are saying. There is plenty of food, and with your help, world hunger can be overcome. Please write to the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120.
Hello, I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In January of 1983, my house was completely destroyed by fire. I lost everything. Word got out that among the things that were destroyed was an extremely rare collection of jazz recordings. Then a strange thing happened. Everywhere I went, people were handing me rare jazz records. I can't tell you how touched I was that people I didn't even know cared so much. So I know how it feels to have people help you pick up the pieces. It didn't feel like charity when people were giving to me, and it won't feel like charity for the Africans accepting our support. It will feel like what it's intended to be, a demonstration of friendship, feeling, and brotherhood. The hungry people in Africa don't need a handout. They need our partnership. Please, do what you can. Thank you.
And there have also been a number of people who have added their thoughts. I think that this voice will be a very familiar one to you.
As a young boy growing up in South Carolina, many a day my mother would say, clean your plate, because there are starving children around the world. As an adult, I am now seeing my ugliest nightmares come alive, to be played out against the backdrop of a country that has suffered deeply. Young children and adults are dying. And it is moral imperative that we do everything we can to eradicate hunger in Africa and the rest of the world. It is very gratifying to see artists and musicians using their considerable talents and influence to effect a change. How great is the tragedy when the value of a human life can be measured by a song. You can make a difference. I'm Jesse Jackson.
Let's see, we're talking about hunger today. That's what this is all about. Hunger can be on your block. It can be in refugee camps around the world. Now, remember the film The Killing Fields and the man who won an Oscar for his portrayal of the Cambodian who escaped that country? Well, he lived that horror himself. He is Haing Noir, and here are his thoughts on hunger.
I am Haing S. I have been enslaved, beaten, and tormented. I know what it is like to survive the atrocity of man's inhumanity to man. The famine in Africa is as ferocious as any human catastrophe could be. Knowing there is enough food and resources to end hunger makes one think clear. To do nothing is the worst atrocity of all. We must all act now. Tomorrow will be too late.
There are others, including people who are not musicians. Let's hear from one.
This is Harvey Korman. In the fight to end hunger, what part does relief play? Distributing food, medicine, and supplies is only a temporary measure. It keeps people alive. But after that, people want to put their lives back together. They don't want a handout. So relief is just the first step. As relief tapers off, recovery can begin. Recovery restores the basic elements of life, like housing, education, and the ability to grow food. Through recovery, confidence is renewed, and the foundation is in place for people to become self-reliant. Instead of an endless cycle of poverty, people join an endless spiral of growth. Can the world end hunger? Yes. 84 countries have already done it. Many experts agree that with a systematic approach of relief, recovery, and self-reliance, the rest of the world can follow by the end of this century.
You know, Tommy, people who rarely speak out on issues have taken the time to speak out on the one that is behind this whole event today, and here's one such person.
Hi, this is Diane Keaton. I'm talking to you on a very special day. It belongs to you and to me and to all the hungry and homeless in Africa. With your help, in just this one day, it may be possible to raise more than $50 million. When your donation is multiplied by millions of others, it will grow to massive proportions. Whether you buy a T-shirt, a record, or give some of your time to a local charity, remember, what starts here today is not going to stop here today, whether it's to fight hunger in Africa or hunger in America. Sometimes we tend to forget in all this concert excitement what it's all really about. It's all really about raising a lot of money to feed a lot of people. So let's all aim for the sky and look at this Live Aid concert not as an ending, but as a beginning.
One of the surprised people that was ready to talk about what this whole day is about is Woody Allen.
This is Woody Allen. We're all listening to an incredible event today, happening live before our very ears. Much of the top musical talent in the world today is gathered in London and Philadelphia, donating their time, talent, and effort to work for an end to world hunger. While we enjoy the entertainment, let's all take a little time to think about what it would mean if we could end hunger for every human being in the world. Putting together all this musical talent at one time has been an incredible undertaking. But if all these top acts can be brought together at one time, think what we can do if we all put our minds and our hearts and our pocketbooks behind the effort to end world hunger. So turn up the radio and enjoy today. I sure am. And I'm also looking forward to seeing this world be a better place tomorrow for all of us.
I'm Valerie Harper. Right now, the African famine is taking its toll on 150 million people, with 13 million in immediate danger of dying. Maybe you're feeling like the famine is too big a problem, that any contribution you might make is just a drop in the bucket. Well, sometimes it does seem too big to handle. But the fact is, you are making an impact. Tons of food are getting through. People are being fed, but more is needed. And after the relief effort, they'll need tools, seeds, and wells to rebuild their lives. So we mustn't let up now. Together, we can turn Africa's worst famine into Africa's last famine. Of the 4.8 billion people on Earth, 1/5 of us go to bed hungry or malnourished every night. In normal years, 13 to 18 million of us die from hunger, 3/4 of whom are children. This year, because of the African famine, those figures could double. The sad truth is that they don't have to die at all. Why? Because there's enough food to feed almost twice the world's population. We have the resources, money, technology, and solutions to end hunger. In fact, 84 countries have ended hunger as a basic issue since the turn of the century. Experts tell us that given this success and the abundance we have on Earth, the only thing that is missing to end hunger everywhere is the will to end it. That means it's up to you and me, in partnership with the world's hungry. Since we can end hunger, we must. This is Valerie Harper. Now that you know hunger can end, you can begin with the famine in Africa. Then we can move on to eradicate hunger everywhere else on Earth. Together, we make the difference.
What will it take to end the famine in Africa?
Food and water. And tents and clothing. Doctors and medicine. And trucks. And mechanics and spare parts. Gasoline and oil. But relief alone is not enough. As we overcome the famine, a program of recovery must begin. Recovery means seed and tools, technology, and the education to use them. Schools, teachers, and books. Wells and irrigation. But are relief and recovery enough? No. The ultimate goal of relief and recovery is self-sufficiency, self-reliance, thriving villages and farms, healthy families, healthy livestock, strong communities, and vigorous markets.
In the words of Federico Garcia Lorca, the day that hunger is eradicated from the face of the earth, there will be the greatest spiritual explosion the world has ever known. Humanity cannot imagine the joy that will burst into the world on the day of that great revolution.
Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
We're in a race against time. Soon the rains will come to Africa and bring even more misery. For when the rains start, poor dirt roads will wash away, supplies will be halted, cholera and dysentery will spread, and lifeless people will vanish before our eyes. But we can help get supplies to these people in time. If you haven't contributed already, then call her right now. And if you have made a donation, then call a friend and ask them to give something. We're all in this together, and we can all help. Here's how.
To make your pledge, dial 800-LIVE-AID. We've got thousands of operators ready to take your call. If the lines are busy, please keep trying. The number is 800-LIVE-AID. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa. Call now.
There have been many things in history which seemed impossible. Yet somehow, at some point, something happened and the world was forever changed.
People always thought that the world was flat until Christopher Columbus. People always thought that man would never fly until the Wright brothers. They never thought that man would ever be able to transplant a human heart until Christian Barnard. People always thought that man would never walk on the moon until Neil Armstrong. People always thought that hunger would never end until today. Today begins a new chapter in history. For the first time ever, 1.5 billion people are coming together to end hunger in Africa and throughout the world.
This concert is a turning point, not just for the hungry of the world, but for all mankind. Because when we end hunger by banding together, who knows what else we can do. July 13th, 1985. After today, the world may never be the same.
Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
Imagine yourself with no home, no food, no water. Imagine watching your children die, one at a time. Not millions, just one at a time, slowly, painfully. Imagine your outrage at knowing that they could be saved if food could get there in time. Imagine how you would feel knowing there was nothing you could do about it. You know what to do. Call in or send a donation. We're waiting because they're waiting.
To make a donation, dial 800-LIVE-AID. That's 800-LIVE-AID. You can use Visa or MasterCard. For check or money order, we're the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120. If the lines are busy, please keep trying. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa.
Maybe you've heard that the food's sitting on the docks in Africa and not getting to the people. Or perhaps you've heard that the money goes into some big bureaucrat's pocket. Maybe you're feeling like the famine is too big a problem, that any contribution you make is just a drop in the bucket. A drop in the bucket. Right now, the African famine is taking its toll on 150 million people, with 13 million in immediate danger of dying. 13 million people. Sometimes it does seem too big to handle. But the fact is you are making an impact, and we mustn't let up now. Although tons of food are getting through, a lot more is needed. And after the relief effort, Africa will need tools and seed and the technology to dig wells. We have to end this famine in Africa in a way that ends famine in Africa forever. Maybe you think your contribution is just a drop in the bucket. But drops in a bucket are putting an end to the most powerful drought in history. We do make a difference, one at a time, and together with the Africans, we will win. And they won't have to go hungry or thirsty ever again.
Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
Well, this is it. The time to stand up and be counted. If you want to see the famine in Africa end, if you want to see those children and their parents put their lives back together again, then get on that phone. The end of this famine begins with the commitment of one person, and that one person is you. Money is needed right now for food and medical supplies. So the most important thing you can do is call or write and make a donation. Here's how.
To make a donation, dial 800-LIVE-AID. That's 800-LIVE-AID. You can use Visa or MasterCard. For check or money order, we're the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120. If the lines are busy, please keep trying. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa.
We all have dreams. From this day forward, our dreams of a world without hunger begin to come true. We have more than the vision. We have everything it takes. We just need to do it. We must always remember, she will never forget.
Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
What's the hardest choice you have to make each morning? What shirt to wear, what to have for breakfast? Imagine being a drought-stricken African mother or father and having to choose which of your children will get food and which will be allowed to die. Don't waste your valuable time on pity. They don't need your pity. They need food, and you can get it to them. In that parent's torment, make your phone call now or send your donation, and here's how.
To make your pledge, dial 800-LIVE-AID. Give $15 or more and get a Live Aid pin. $25 or more and get a Live Aid t-shirt. You can use Visa, MasterCard, check or money order. We're the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa. Call now. Dial 800-LIVE-AID. If the lines are busy, keep trying.
What difference can one atom make? Not much. But one extra atom of hydrogen can make one molecule of water. What difference can one drop of water make? Not much. But it might be enough to awaken one seed. What difference can one seed make? Not much. But it could become a tree which could feed a village with its fruit. What difference can one village make? Not much. But it can be an example to a country. You're only one person. What difference can you make? Do you honestly believe that you make less of a difference than an atom or a seed? You have a mind and a heart, and you can commit yourself and your resources to ending this famine in Africa. What difference can you make? In this instance, it could be the difference between life and death.
Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
In the struggle to end hunger, we're making some headway. For example,
in Senegal, women have organized themselves into farming groups. They're pooling their knowledge and resources to grow food collectively and then sell the surplus. In the Ramsa village in Burkina Faso in Africa, 15 wells have changed the people's lives. They can continue to grow food during the 6-month dry season and are not tempted to move away. Hundreds of nearby villagers now visit Ramsa to observe and bring home the knowledge of what they saw. When residents of Nyundo village in Zimbabwe, Africa, decided to construct their own school, they set the tuition for each student at 2,000 bricks, all to be made by hand. The bricks were used to construct the school building. This, they say, is a way to demonstrate their own responsibility for the success of the school. When people from other villages saw the school being built, they began to think that they could also do that for their children. They came from far away to learn how it was done and to get ideas.
So there are ways to end hunger, and every little victory brings us closer to the day when no one will go without.
Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
Did you know that Africa's empty farmlands, if properly developed, can feed the entire continent and all of Western Europe as well? The people of drought-stricken Africa need your help to get going again. They know the potential and they're up for the challenge. But in this crisis, we must help keep them alive. They are mothers, they are fathers, they are children, and they are counting on you. Please call or send your donation. Here's how.
To make a donation, dial 800-LIVE-AID. That's 800-LIVE-AID. You can use Visa or MasterCard. For check or money order, we're the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120. If the lines are busy, please keep trying. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa.
13 million people are hanging by a thread right now. If they don't get food and medical supplies, they will die in the next several weeks. The price tag to rescue them from this famine is $1.5 billion. But if everyone watching this show would give just $1, then we could end this famine. But there's no time left to think about it. You've got to act now. So give generously and don't waste another second. Write to us or call, and here's how.
To make your pledge, dial 800-LIVE-AID. We've got thousands of operators ready to take your call. If the lines are busy, please keep trying. The number is 800-LIVE-AID. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa. Call now.
In the next few weeks, 13 million people could die in Africa unless we help. Your money is needed right now to stop this horror. How much can you give? How much would you give to see a concert with groups like you're seeing today? The cost of that ticket can save lives. There is nothing so sorrowful as a mother's cry for the life of her baby. Help dry her tears. Make a donation. Here's how.
To make a donation, dial 800-LIVE-AID. That's 800-LIVE-AID. You can use Visa or MasterCard. For check or money order, we're the Live Aid Foundation, P.O. Box 7800, San Francisco, California, 94120. If the lines are busy, please keep trying. We guarantee every dollar given by the public will go to Africa. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the moment to do what's never been done before. This is the moment to take the world by the hand and lead it into realms we've only dreamed about. We've been heading in that direction for a long time now. Many agencies have been focusing their efforts on Africa, but now we need more help, more supplies, more development and education than ever before. We need to make sure that our governments, African and from around the world, continue to supply experts, money, and provisions. Individuals like you and me must continue to volunteer more time, more energy, more money, and more talent. All this support is working with the largest force of all, the hungry people themselves. They're doing the work, holding the vision, knowing that when it all comes together, there'll be a surge of energy so powerful that nothing can stop it. Hunger hasn't ended yet, so we can't afford to let up. But this is the moment, and we are the generation that can do it. We're the generation that will do it, and the moment is now. Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
I think hunger could be helped a lot if everybody gave a little.
I think one of the problems of world hunger is education.
The effective use of birth control.
If you can't help your brother,
Everybody's problem.
Kids can help.
You can't help nobody. You can't even help yourself.
Famine and hunger, prayer, use of the land.
Long-term solutions.
Technology,
Money, truth.
If the problem of hunger seems overwhelming, here's the plain truth. Hunger has been ending on every continent since the beginning of this century. In fact, 84 countries have ended hunger as a basic issue since 1900. And they've done it using all kinds of methods under every type of government. And in spite of one of the most catastrophic droughts in history, experts tell us that even in Africa, hunger can be eliminated. Hunger is ending. And there are many reasons, many philosophies, many solutions, but one thing is certain. You and I are taking part in one of mankind's greatest achievements, the eradication of hunger from the face of this earth. Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must. Can the world end hunger? Can relief end hunger? Relief is a temporary measure. It keeps people alive. But people want to put their lives back together. They don't want a handout, so relief is just the first step. But can the world end hunger? What happens after relief? As relief tapers off, recovery can begin. Confidence is renewed. The foundation is in place for people to become self-reliant. Even the simplest technology can make a big difference. It can give people a chance to provide for themselves. As standards rise, so does education. Instead of an endless cycle of poverty, people can join an endless spiral of growth. Can the world end hunger? Yes. 84 countries have already ended hunger as a basic issue. With a systematic approach of relief, recovery, and self-reliance, the rest of the world can follow. How long will it take? Many experts agree it can happen soon. Ending hunger. Now that we can, we must.
To strengthen the appeal for aid, pre-recorded messages on hunger will be televised every half hour. From India, a prime minister. From South Africa, a Nobel laureate. From Atlanta, the widow of a Nobel laureate.
はい、久しぶりにアウトでございますけども、盛り上がっておりますが、またちょっと傘の花がですね、開き始めたアルタなんで。